Hello and welcome to Safety Tavern's video on trash and waste management. Let's get right into it. So first, we have a toolbox. And this is just a basic toolbox, right? Tons of tools in here. Now, let me ask you a question. Would you rather have this or this? Now, I know that toolbox number 1 has got tons of tools in it. First, we're going to talk about just basic organization. Let's take these two toolboxes. You've got one right here and one down there. Now, both of these toolboxes have tools in them. This one has tons of tools in them. This one has less tools, but it's organized. Now, the old redneck in me says, I want this one up here. I want this toolbox because it has a lot more tools. But how much longer am I going to spend looking for these tools? I need this one specific set of pliers, and so I dig, and I dig, and I dig, and I dig. And now, I lacerate my finger on something. This one promotes injury, and it wastes more time. Trust me, I want tons of stuff also. I love tools. I love my tools. But do you really need to carry them all with you for every single job? Can you have them organized in some other place? This is where we need to look at what we're doing. Stay organized. I promise you. It'll speed you up and it'll reduce injury ratings. I promise you. It's just basic logic. Stay organized. Let's look at another situation. Where would you rather work? This garage or this garage? Now, again, same exact situation. The first garage had less stuff in it. You're working with less stuff. The second garage definitely had more stuff, but can you even move around in the second garage? You can't do anything with it. Stay organized. I promise you, it'll speed you up and it'll promote a better injury rating. Again, now we can run through gang boxes. Which one would you rather have, this gang box or this gang box? It's pretty simple. Would you want the organized one or the one that you got to dig stuff out of? OSHA 1926-25 Alpha. During the course of construction, alteration, or repairs, form and scrap lumber with protruding nails and all other debris shall be kept cleared from the work areas, passageways, and stairs in and around buildings or other structures. This is very, very point blank stating these things are to be kept clear from stairs, passageways, and work areas. So that means all those times whenever I've walked on a job site and I've seen the plumbers or even the electricians, depending on who's doing what, and they've got their rigid 1224 set up and they're doing some pipe threading and there's pipe all over the ground, or the carpenter has cut pieces of wood all over the ground, that's a work area. And the way I read this is you're supposed to keep your work area clear. So keep your stuff clean. Passageways. Again, let's look at some passageways. Does this passageway look clear? What about here? No. These passageways are not. Now granted, this one has been pushed into a pile, but did it say push all debris into a pile, or did it say keep it free or clear of debris? Pick your stuff up. Pick up your trash. It doesn't mean, well, we just like to throw our trash down and then we clean up at the end of the day. No. I don't know where that started, this whole clean up at the end of the day thing. But what that means is right around 2 o'clock and 1 o'clock, you've got this massive trash all over the place. No. Now, I could see throwing, especially with, let's say, electricians. That's my forte with construction. Electricians, you're wiring a room, you're wiring a house, and you'll throw your scraps down somewhere, right? In a perfect world, you'd have a trash can receptacle right there, a box, and you can throw your scrap in there. As you move, you drag the box with you. Okay, that's great. If you're doing that, man, I applaud you. If it was a test, you get an A. But what I'm at least willing to accept is throw your trash into the corner of the room. Yeah, just don't throw your trash all over the place in your working area. Don't throw your trash all over the place in the access and egress of your area. But I could see throwing it off to the sides until you come off the ladder. Does that make sense? Now, once you come off the ladder, scoop it up, sweep it up, move it into a pile in the corner of the room. Don't leave it in a pile in the middle of the room. So I trust me, I get cleaning as you go, and that is absolutely what I would tell my crews and what I expect of my crews. Clean as you go. But there's also a point where you coming down off the ladder just to throw away a piece of trash to go right back up to the ladder and over and over and over again. I mean, there's a point where you're starting to get into, are we really saving time with this? Are we really, what are we doing here? Again, the best safe practice is have a trash can right by you. That way you can throw it right in the trash can. No fuss, no muss. An acceptable practice is throw it off into the corner, as long as it's small. Again, I'm talking about small trash. I'm not talking about big bulky crap. I'm not talking about my HVAC guys that are running duct work all over the place and you have a big mountain of duct work. No, I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about small trash. Typically, we're looking at our plumbers and our electricians and some HVAC. Again, not everything that HVAC does is huge, but they do a lot of big stuff. Carpenters, keep your wood piles off to the side, and I don't mean your lumber stack side. It's big giant lumber piles. I'm talking about your small little cut pieces. All that waste, throw that off to the side. Don't let it stick under your foot. That's just good basic safe practices. Regardless of what OSHA says, it's good safe practices. Combustible scrap and debris shall be removed at regular intervals during the course of construction. Safe means shall be provided to facilitate such removals. I cannot tell you how many jobs I've come onto, and there's just trash everywhere. Everywhere. That's not regular intervals. Now, OSHA does not lay out specifically what a regular interval is, so my opinion would be at least weekly. If you have a dedicated combustible trash pile, okay, but now you're actually storing combustible trash, and now you start falling into other regulations, right? At the end of the day, okay, I can take that, but we also, again, we have other regulations we got to look at. 1926, containers shall be provided for the collection and separation of waste, trash, oily and used rags, and other refuse. Containers used for garbage and other oily, flammable, or hazardous waste, such as caustics, acids, harmful dusts, etc., shall be equipped with covers. Did y'all hear me? Did y'all hear what it says? If you have a receptacle for garbage, it has to have a lid. Oh yeah. Garbage and other waste shall be disposed of at frequent and regular intervals. So when I see a trash can overflowing, this is the regulation where, okay, if it's overflowing, that means the interval is not regular enough. That may mean that after every meal, you have to send, as a GC, you have to send out crews to go empty all the trash cans if they're filling up. That may mean that you need to bring more trash cans online or bigger trash cans. There's no excuse for having trash on the ground because your trash can filled up. There's just not. Let's play a game. Let's play the, does it have a lid or not? Does this trash can have a lid? 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 I hope you got a good score on that game. All materials stored in tiers shall be stacked, racked, blocked, interlocked, or otherwise secured to prevent sliding, falling, or collapsing. So if this is what your materials area looks like, these are stacked and tiered right here. And is there anything that's going to prevent the sliding? No. This is an OSHA violation. These little closets that we like to just throw all of our stuff into, okay, is it multi-tiered? Meaning, is there multiple levels of materials and boxes? Yes. Okay, what's going to keep them from sliding and falling all over each other? This is an OSHA violation. 1926, 250 Alpha 3, aisles and passageways shall be kept clear to provide for free and safe movement of material handling equipment or employees. Such areas shall be kept in good repair. Jet line. I cannot stand jet line. Trust me, I again, electrical is my forte. I really cannot stand jet line on the floor. I cannot tell you how many times I've tripped on it. Keep the jet line picked up. Never ever let jet line hit the floor. If you in your trade have something that's similar to jet line, this real thin kind of rope kind of thing that's very easy to not see, especially the darker it is, keep it picked up. Keep it picked up. Make sure that you keep anything that's cylindrical that somebody could step on and kind of roll off. Keep that stuff picked up. Aisleways, there should never be any trash. And as you can see in this picture, this is definitely an aisleway. There should never be any trash in an aisleway, ever. Not even for a second. This is what a clean aisleway looks like. 1926 250 Bravo 8I. Used lumber shall have all nails withdrawn before stacking. All nails. Now, it's very, very common in our industry, and if I was on a job, I wouldn't have an issue with it. OSHA may, but I wouldn't. For us to just hammer the nails over. We take a look at this board right here, and what if these nails aren't protruding through the other side? What is the hazard? Well, the regulation says all nails removed. I wouldn't walk the line on these too hard because these aren't really causing too much of a hazard. No, they could be trip hazards. They could be, you could snag your hand on these, but what we're really going after on this one is the protruding nails where you could actually, the point, not the head, but the point, you could step on it, or you can reach your hand in, grab a hold of it, and it stabs you on the back of your hand. That's what we're really going for on this. Again, it's up to you whether y'all choose to ignore it, which I've seen a lot of GCs and a lot of customers and a lot of trades that just completely ignore this. B, hammer over the nails to make sure that the protruding parts are laid down, are smashed into the wood. Or C, remove the nails as OSHA is telling you to. That's between you and your competent person for your company. 1926 250 Charlie, housekeeping. Storage areas shall be kept free from accumulation of materials that constitute hazards from tripping, fire, explosion, or pest harborage. Vegetation control will be exercised when necessary. You think maybe there could be pest harborage in there? So that materials connex that looks like garbage, it's literally an OSHA violation. Literally. That growth of vines and trees and all that stuff that's growing up into the temporary power, you got to control it. Boxes like this, I see these kinds of boxes all the time on a job site. And how long do those things live there? You think maybe there could be pests living in there? I do. That's an OSHA violation. Take a look here. Now, could this be considered an aisle or a passageway? Okay, let me ask you this. If I wanted to get one of these bolts off this bin back here, how would I get there? Well, I'd have to pull everything out, right? So again, we go back into that question. What's better? More tools, more materials, or being able to get to your materials? I would say being able to get to your materials in an expedient manner is the absolute most important thing. I think this looks bad. I think this looks bad, and this is the way it should look. Now, if we throw materials into the middle row right here for transport purposes, whatever, okay, good to go. But you shouldn't have to crawl all over all this stuff in order just to get one bolt, because you know that's what's going to happen. Especially when you send your new guy, your new girl into the into the van to get stuff. You know they're just going to crawl over. They're not going to pull everything out. They're just going to crawl over to get that bolt, and now they've laid their leg open because of a saw blade that they couldn't see from where they were crawling, and all because you didn't want to keep your van organized. Keep your stuff organized, people. Now, there's one that is that's very specific to residential from what I see for the most part, and that is called Romex rope. Romex is not rope. Do not use Romex like rope, okay? Romex rope is unacceptable. If you need rope, get rope. We invented rope, back in like ancient times. And I mean like caveman times, right? When we didn't have houses or anything like that. Rope is one of the first things we invented. You watch any of these survival shows and they're usually making rope out of vines, but they're making rope. We know how to make rope. Rope is extremely cheap. Rope is actually cheaper than Romex. So, stop using Romex as rope. If you need rope, get rope. Pretty simple. That's it. It's not really that big of a video for this one. Keep your stuff clean. Clean as you go. Don't clean at the end of the day. Clean as you go. There's a lot of GCs out there that are doing things like composite crews and cleanup crews. But if your crew is always cleaning as they go, you've actually got justification for being able to lean back and go, we don't have to take part in that composite crew. This is, and let me show you how. You're not going to find any trash on the ground that's ours. If you do, it's going to be a very rare occurrence. Show your GCs. This is just me, Safety Tavern, talking to company owners and supervisors. If you make sure that your people are picking up and cleaning as they go, your GCs are going to love you a lot more. I promise you. They may not fuss about what you're doing, but the fact that they never see electrical trash on the ground ever, that's going to make them happy. If you're a carpenter, the fact that they never have to tell you, come clean up after you've just done all this work, they're going to love you even more for that. If you're a framer, Oh my goodness, framers, please clean up. I love you, framers. We couldn't have a building without you. But please clean up. Please. Don't make everybody else have to step around all your exposed nails. Again, plumbers, you know what you're doing. HVAC, you know what you're doing. Clean up as you go. It's just a safer way to build buildings. I hope this message finds you well, and I'll see you in the next one.